Okay, so today I'm going over Esper Reanimator. This is pretty much just a combo deck that tries to reanimate a huge threat that is enough to swing the game into our favor and let us win from there. This deck has a couple of targets that we want. We'll start off at the top with Elish Norn. Gives your stuff +2/+2, makes everything your opponents with 2 toughness or less just immediately die. And Elish Norn is just absolutely amazing. If there are any token producing strategies like goblins or soul sisters, this just shuts them off straight away. And Elish Norn is still just a 4/7 that can swing in and kill an opponent in 5 turns. There's also the 4 of Sarah's Emissary, which is our biggest hit here. Sarah's Emissary gives us protection from a card type, so that's like creatures, instant sorceries, artifacts, enchantments, things like that, planeswalkers, whatever. And gives us protection from those things, so we can't be targeted, dealt damage by, or things like that. This is a silver bullet against any sort of creature deck that needs to win through combat damage because we can just name creature. And we can win against things like spell-based combo decks or like storm decks by naming typically sorcery. So Sarah's Emissary is one of our main things to get out. Then we have an enabler in Shieldred. Shieldred brings something back from our graveyard every turn, which just gets us power on the field and helps us bring back some of the more restrictive cards that we can reanimate. And it also just makes our opponent sack creatures, which just cleans up their board pretty nicely. Now, with these 3 targets, they're generally pretty good to get on onto the battlefield, but eventually if the opponent has some sort of exile or kill spell, then they can just be dealt with on a 1-for-1, and then we don't really have anything to do. So there's a 1 of Coma in here to fill up that hole, which Coma is a 6/6 that can't be countered, but that is not important text for this since we're reanimating it. And the thing with Coma is on each upkeep, this includes your opponents, you get a 3/3. And that 3/3 can be sacrificed in order to either tap down your opponent's mana or important permanents, or you can use it to give Coma indestructible, so only exile-based effects will be able to remove a Coma. So those are the main things that we need to get into play. In terms of how we get there, we play a lot of discard-based draw in Esper, and then we also play 4 copies of Unburial Rites. 4 in a black or 3 in a white from the graveyard to return a creature from your graveyard to the battlefield. Additionally, there is a somewhat of a new card in Priest of Fellrites, and basically this is the card that enables this deck to have a reanimation on turn 3. And Priest of Fellrites is great because you can either unearth it to hastily bring something back from the graveyard, or you can just play it on curve and get to doing your action on turn 3. To fill up the graveyard, we have 4 copies of Tainted Indulgence, basically a draw 2, discard 1, and then there's Faithful Mending, a draw 2, discard 2, and then there's Stitcher Supplier, which is both a blocker and something that allows you to mill 3 cards. Additionally, there's Bone Shards, which allows us to discard a card as the downside for Bone Shards killing something, but for us, that is sometimes a plus. And then finally, 4 copies of Thoughtseize, pretty standard. Get it out of their hand, figure out what they have that can hurt our strategy, and then discard that, hoping that this will push us through. The mana base runs 4 copies of Obscura Storefront, one of the ETB sack lands that has come out recently. These are pretty fun, and we have one that is in Esper, so we are able to use it to its fullest potential. Anyway, that's Esper Reanimator. We're going to do what we can here and see if we can cheat something big into play. Let's go do it. Okay, we found a game right off the bat. Here we are in round 1. So we have the ability to draw, discard, and mill here. We'll need 1 turn to set up our black mana. And from there, we should be on track to doing what we want to do. Since the opponent kept 7, I will also keep 7. And we'll try to reanimate a Shieldred that will then get back in Elish Norn the following turn. I think I'll lead on Obscura Storefront, trying to set up its turn 2 Stitcher Supplier. Okay, we might be playing against a Storm deck, which is going to be really tough for me. Alright, so we'll find a Swamp. I see red and green. Sometimes this is indicative of Liquid Metal Coating land destruction decks, but I think we're probably on something different than that. So we found Unburial Rites, which is good. A Faithful Mending on turn 3 is kind of ideal. And then we should be able to either... Well, we'll see what we hit on Stitcher Supplier. I'm thinking we probably just try to get an Unburial Rites set up on turn 4. We have Priest of Fell Rites in the graveyard, which is good, and we just milled it into a Sarah's Emissary, which is great. So, if I Faithful Mending, discarding Shieldred, Unburial Rites next turn, we will be looking good. They played their Cloud Key on Enchantment, which is interesting. Usually that is not what they choose. Here is a Deserted Beach, and we have the next Deserted Beach to play on the following turn. Wait to see what they do. Okay, so they are on enchantments, and this is specifically shrines. That's pretty cool. So basically I'm just going to choose enchantment here, and I think they shouldn't be able to do too much here. So I'm going to discard Unburial Shieldred, and we're going to get something back this next turn. There's another shrine. And here is Deserted Beach for 4th mana. Here is Unburial Rites, targeting Shieldred. No attacks. They have to sack their Goshen Tie. And now it is time to just fight through. Sanctum of Shattered Heights. We'll need to activate it twice in order to kill Shieldred. Well, actually, no, they only had 2 things. They would have had to discard 3 cards. So now we see if they have a removal for Shieldred. Okay. They do not. Alright, so now they make some creatures. So now I'm going to bring back a Sarah's Emissary. I want to have protection from enchantments. And then I have a 5th mana. And do I have anything useful in the graveyard? I do not. So I will play a Stitcher's Supplier here, and then I can Faithful Mending to discard Sarah's Emissary, Elish Norn. Just keep fueling up. So there's an Elish Norn into graveyard already. I can just go ahead and swing in here. The Token Spirits can block, so I will just swing in and then see what they do their next turn. They have to sacrifice another Spirit this turn. So it actually would have been correct to attack with the Stitcher Supplier. If they trade, I get my mill, and they then need to sack their Shintai next turn. Honden of Cleansing Fire, sure. And I will Faithful Mending at the end of my turn. They are reading my cards. They may play some sort of... Okay, Portable Hole. It's an artifact that will hit my stuff. Just the Stitcher Supplier, that's okay. And then I think I'll just crack off a Faithful Mending. We'll draw 2, discard these 2 cards, and move to my turn. Sure. So I'm absolutely taking Elish Norn, which will kill all of their things. And now I can just go ahead and swing for lethal. They can't block. Okay. We absolutely bowled over them this game. Let's move on to round 2. Alright, round 2. Here we go. We've got 2 Priest of Felrights this game. Unfortunately, no way to accelerate or put things into our graveyard. So while we have everything set up correctly, I think we do need to mulligan this hand. Faithful Mending is fine. I would much rather be searching for a reanimation spell versus the things to fill up a graveyard. So I'll just drop out a Deserted Beach now. See what they do. Okay, so this is some red aggro deck. I can Faithful Mending on my opponent's end step. Sure. I'm going to quickly put a stop in their end step. Resolve. Resolve. I'll take 2. Alright, and here's Faithful Mending. And let's see what we can do. So I've Priest the Felrights now, which means I want to definitely discard these 2 things. There we go. And now I'll go to my turn where I am going to... Ooh, I even have an Unburial Rites next as well. I'll put my... Oh, so these are tap lands, unfortunately. I will be able to... I need to play it anyway, whatever. I'm looking for some way that I can play Unburial Rites on turn 4. I don't think it's going to happen. And then I also couldn't play Priest the Felright. So we go to 14. Looks like this is going to be mostly creature aggro and sorcery aggro. Might not have the speed to get there, I think. Faithful Mending can give me 2 life. I also have Priest of Felrights. I think we're going to be fine. I take 7 now, so I have a 2-turn clock, but then Shieldred next turn. Ooh, okay. That's tough. Okay, so I have Shipwreck Marsh here. I can Unburial Rites a Sarah's Emissary. I think Sarah's Emissary is the move, gaining the protection from creature. So now none of their board matters. And then next turn I can Unburial Rites a Shieldred, and then start Faithful Mending my way out of this. I would like to have another Sarah's Emissary on instant or sorcery. That would be fine. We'll see if they find a 1-mana thing. They could actually kill Sarah's Emissary. There are cards that can do it. Okay, so I go to 2. So I think the move is Faithful Mending probably this turn. I do need to gain some life, stay out of shock range. I will have up to 3 mana left, so I think I'm probably going to start with Faithful Mending. Another Sarah's Emissary is good. I'll get rid of... Let's see, I could use another blue. I could also use another white. Now I'll just get rid of this. Then Sanctum for turn, and Tainted Indulgence can discard yet another card. I'll get rid of my island. And cool. I don't care about creatures, so I can just go ahead and attack for 7. Opponent has 2 turns to do 2 spells worth of shock damage to me. Okay, Torbran. Thoughtseize is huge, but it does put me in range of death. I can crack it off. Do I have double Faithful Mending and Thoughtseize? I do. Okay, that's good. So let's see what we're working with. This does damage. Chandra also does damage. I'm going to get rid of the Chandra. Go to 2. Then, in response to whatever they do, I'm going to Faithful Mending. Okay. End turn. And will my 4 life be enough? Here is Faithful Mending. Discard these 2. I will take my 2. Oh, it actually does +2 because of Thorgran. Okay. This is okay. And I think we're okay. Yeah, we just barely made it through. 1 life to spare. Alright, so that was game 2 with Esper Reanimator. Let's move on to round 3. Here we go. It's round 3 time. Got a Thoughtseize off the rip. Bone Shards as well with a Stitcher's Supplier. I'll keep this hand, give it a try. So I'll be on Scoured Barrens first, and then try to get a Shipwrecked Marsh on turn 3. Hive of the Eye Tyrant is interesting. I will get my second black source out now, so my next turn can be a double black spell. We'll see what's in their hand. Okay, so this is Rakdos Control. Kroxa is fine in hand. Shieldred I probably am taking. Chandra also sucks. Phyrexian Dragon Engine is also tough. I think for sure right now it's going to be Shieldred, then probably Chandra on the next Thoughtseize. Though I can kill her with Bone Shards, so maybe I should take a different card. I kind of want all these cards. Stitcher Supplier is important so that I can get things going here, though Tainted Indulgence is probably better. I think I'll just discard Stitchers. Okay, so I have a second Bone Shards. Cool. I will then, in this case, I know turn 3 is probably just Dragon Engine. Do I care about... No, that's a creature. Yeah, so if they play Dragon Engine and discard their hand, then following turn I just Thoughtseize them. So I will Tainted Indulgence, discard Emissary. They'll know what I'm on now. Now I have a 4th slow land. We'll see what they play. Shocking in that, and then Phyrexian Dragon Engine, do they wheel? They do not wheel. Okay, so now I'm playing this for sure. I am finding, I think, a white mana source. Either white or blue, probably white. In case Hardcast Sarah's Emissary becomes a thing I want to do, then I think I'm on Thoughtseize. They have another Leyline of the Void. Well, they have the first Leyline of the Void that I've seen. I'm probably just taking this. That's a hard counter for me. Glad I did that, and then I will wait a little bit to do the Bone Shards. No, I can't because it's sorcery. Discard Emissary. Alright, board is pretty clear. I have the graveyard all set up. I have to draw into my combo before they draw into another Leyline of the Void. Alright, there's Chandra to deal some damage to me, maybe. They exiled a land. Elish Norn, unfortunately, is the draw. I will use it to kill Chandra. And now I'm hellbent, but my life total is not in danger. And we just need to see what they play. And Silex, that is tough. I have Unburial Rights. If I draw land. What am I getting with that? I have Elish Norn and Sarah's Emissary. Chandra and Awakened Inferno is really tough. Man, there's a Coma, okay. So I'm now in trouble with Chandra Awakened Inferno emblems. Chandra's just going to keep going, and now I have to deal with Hive of the Eye Tyrant as well. Hive is going to get around my Shieldred upkeep triggers for them, since it will not be a creature in their upkeep. They just took probably Sarah's Emissary? No, it was Elish Norn. Okay. And I am just being punished here somehow. Double Unburial Rights and Coma. One land just splits this wide open. I'm going to lose a Sarah's Emissary now, so this next turn really needs to be a land or something. It kind of needs to be a land, in fact. I'm going to be taking 3 a turn. It's not looking good. Or, okay. Tainted Indulgence, not really the move, sadly. There are the 2 lands that I needed. I'm getting rid of a Coma. Here is Hallowed Fountains Untapped. And it's looking like I don't have it anymore. I'm just going to die to Chandra Emblems.
Or is it getting a little warm?
Bummer. There's Hive. Okay, Coma's gone. And what happens now? Here's 3 damage, I go to 1, and no way I'm playing anything that can deal that much damage. Yeah, so I would have just been able to take a Sarah's Emissary. Emblem is unfortunately not a thing that I can select from this, so I will just choose, I don't know, land. I'll play land and then just concede. Okay, so that was round 3. We're now 2-1. Let's move on to round 4 and try to finish out the league. We are jumping right into round 4, following a tough round 3. This has off-colored mana. I don't think it is a wise keep, so I'm going to mulligan. I've got the mana this time, and it's going to be a Double Thoughtseize Stitcher's Hand, where I probably get rid of Sarah's Emissary. I will keep the 6, and then hope that Stitcher's Supplier finds something for me. I will Obscura for a Swamp. If the game will let me choose that. There we go. And unfortunately, this is a tapped land. We could be on Elves. They are running Snow-Covered Forest, which is interesting. For Science, I'm going to check their hand, and it is indeed that. Clan Caller is really annoying. Visionary is annoying. Prefect is also annoying. Empath is kind of whatever. I need to just stop them before they can get that much mana. For right now, I think I will take the things that grow their army. They do actually have a 2 mana spell, so I will take that to get them off of their curve. I'll take 1. And they did find a 2-drop. Here is Deserted Beach. I can Faithful Mending plus Thoughtseize, or I can get a Stitcher Supplier out. I will probably play the Faithful Mending here. So what are they going to play on turn 3 if they draw something? They're going to probably want to start pumping their army, so I want to delay the damage as much as possible. Here's Faithful Mending. I can get it Unburial Rites and Sarah's Emissary in the grave. If I am allowed to name creature, that is just it for this deck. So I just need 1 more mana. My life total is just temporary. There is the mana, Unburial Rites on Sarah's Emissary, choosing creature. And unless this is an elf deck that has played specifically for this matchup, if they've done things specifically for this, then they might have an out here, but Sarah's Emissary probably just kills them. But we'll see. Here is probably Stitcher's Supplier to mill. Nothing interesting in the graveyard now. We do have another Unburial Rites. I can Tainted Indulgence again. Look for a land for turn. Getting rid of Elishnorn. And here is Waterfront District. I am just able to attack for 7, and opponent is on a 2-turn clock, with a lot of their board getting wiped next turn from Elishnorn. Okay, and they see the writing on the wall. That is game 4. We're 3-1. On to round 5. It is time for round 5. Here we go. So, I have bone shards, but no mana to cast them. Those will help with getting things into the graveyard. So right now I'm just looking for something that can reanimate my targets. Elesh Norn and Sarah's Emissary are fine. I think I'll keep this. I can Faithful Mending on 2. And if I find a black source, Bone Shards is online. I'm feeling pretty safe. They have Dark Oracle of the Alpha here as their avatar. We'll see what they're on. They're on Gix Sleeves. Looking like we have some black mana in our future. I'd prefer it to be in my hand, but based on what I'm seeing here, it's going to be across the table for me. That is the Shipwrecked Marsh. And we're still on the Faithful Mending turn 2 plan. Okay, it's Grixis. And so this is going to be discard stuff, which I am absolutely happy to do. Thank you for filling my graveyard. Did find my black mana source, so next turn will be looking good. I will discard an Elesh Norn and a Swamp, probably. Yeah, seems good to me. And now, unless I run into a Leyline of the Void or some sort of graveyard hate, we are looking good. So there's the graveyard hate I was mentioning. Ashiok is going to suck. I can at least remove them now. There's my black mana source. I will kill Ashiok, discarding my land, since that becomes less important now. I can kill up to 3 Ashioks. So what has been taken so far? We lost Elesh Norn, Sarah's Emissary. Okay. Things are starting to hurt. There's Obscura Storefront. Let's get a land. I will take another black source. And now they've got me in top deck mode. That was pretty quick. Tainted Indulgence is fine. I will get rid of Sarah's Emissary. I can reanimate it next turn. And yeah, I think I'm on sorcery for Emissary if I can get it into battle. Shark Typhoon on my turn for them to apply pressure with. And do they have a exile? Yeah, they just made that cheaper for me. No, as long as they can't remove my graveyard, I'm okay. Here's to hoping. I think I'm losing something in there. They're rooting around in my graveyard. Bummer. Erebos' Intervention. Not a common card to see in here. But oh well. So I have Shieldred in hand. Unfortunately not doing that much for me. And they've got the hardcast Shark Typhoon. That's tough. So I will play... I'll just kill... This is a difficult thing to decide on because... No, this is not a difficult thing to decide on. So I will be wanting to not do any discarding yet because my next draw at the best is a 5 mana Reanimator. So I will see if I can leverage them making me discard. Hardcast Shark Typhoon really blows though. That will be hard to overcome. I'm a little bit late on getting the sorcery protection. It might not matter as much now. And they've demonstrated that they're running both sorceries and instants. With a Shark Typhoon on board, blanking that with creature protection could be good. So let's see, I'm down 2 Sarah's Emissaries, both my Elesh Norns. So I have... Okay, so I get a land. Land goes in tapped. Okay, so I'm down 2 Elesh Norns, 2 Sarah's Emissaries. So that leaves Coma and 2 Emissaries in my deck. I'm losing all of my cards again. And I think I might just get eaten up for the rest of the game by this deck. I take 6 here, then next turn is probably just as bad. Ooh, and to add insult to injury, it's another land. We'll play it out to see what we draw, but I think at this point I'm at a 0 outer. So we'll just take the damage and pass through. And it is a land. I will just concede with the trigger on the stack to save some time. Okay, so that is 2 and 3, I believe, after 5 games. We'll go on to round 6 and 7 here. Let's do it. Alright, I'm back in round 6. We've got pretty good draw power here and the lands to do something about that, and then there is an Unburial Rites. So the potential for turn 4 reanimation is pretty high with this starting hand. I'll lead on Waterfront District and see what happens. Sarah's Emissary, okay. I can Bone Shards the Elves, but I'll wait. I'm looking for reanimating the Emissary, unless this is some other thing. Burning Tree Emissary, okay. They might just go off this turn. Another Llanowar Elves, and will there be another thing? No, there will not. Alright, I've got another land. Gain a little bit of life. Then I'm thinking Tainted Indulgence now. Thoughtseize. I'm definitely getting rid of Sarah's Emissary. I can play a Stitcher Supplier and Thoughtseize next turn, and Bone Shards. Yeah, that seems fine. So they're racing to kill me. I am racing to cast Sarah's Emissary. Got a Coma. I will play Stitcher Supplier for sure. Okay. I'm going to Thoughtseize them and then Bone Shards the Goblin and Narcomancer. See if they got anything crazy in here. It's a Collected Company, okay. Sure. Oh, it's a Harmonic Prodigy. That is really tough. Okay, Seasoned Pyromancer goes away. That's good. I want to Bone Shards either an Archomancer or Prodigy. I will discard... I'm going to kill an Archomancer. I'm going to get rid of Unburial Rites. They can now hit me for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to block something. Okay. I will take them off of 1 mana, I suppose. Mill 3. And here we are getting lucky with a land. Let's go. And then now this is Unburial Rites on Sarah's Emissary. Let's get protection from creatures. See what they can do about this now. Alright. If I leave Klothys as a creature, then I will just not take any damage from him. I will kill off the Harmonic Prodigy. Protection from creatures. Protection from creatures. Alright. And now I can... So now Klothys is going to start hurting me. I might just want to use Faithful Mending while I have the opportunity to. There is no reanimation target in my graveyard right now. I will look for another reanimation type effect. A land is good. I'll get rid of a Tainted Indulgence right now, because Klothys just gets something for free out of my graveyard if I don't do that. And I get to start swinging in the 2-turn clock now. And we really just need to hold on here. I'm going to lose Faithful Mending. Or, no, that was my priest, wasn't it? Okay, they made Clothis a creature again. Okay. And I am just sitting with a bunch of reanimation targets here. It doesn't really matter too much. Yeah, okay, an opponent sees it. They made it into a 3-turn clock, but it would not have lasted for long. Okay. That was round 6. I believe we're 4-2, if I recall correctly. Let's move on to the next game. Okay, we're 4-2 after 6 rounds. We've got a chance to go 5-2 and do the reanimation thing again. This hand is pretty heavy on mana, though it does have a Thoughtseize and some draw discards. I'll try taking this as an example of a more risky hand to see if the draw discard is going to be strong enough to get me to where I need to be. I need to make sure that I'm playing blue mana out. Then on turn 2, I'll be able to play Faithful Mending, and this is the Symmetry Sage deck. Okay. So a lot of my creatures, or a lot of my reanimation targets will stay safe through this deck. I should check their hand to see what they're doing, and then either take a spell or a creature. I see a Balmor in their hand, a Dreadhorde Arcanist. This is a new one where wizards get +1/+1. So this is a pretty heavy creature hand. I am going to get rid of Dreadhorde Arcanist. That thing is going to hurt me the most. And we'll see if they develop their board with a creature here or try to get damage in with Symmetry Sage. Faithful Mending now becomes really cool, where that will prolong my life. Absolutely Bone Shardsing something now. I'm going to Bone Shards, discarding a Plains, the Symmetry Sage. Discarding a Plains. Then I will Tainted Indulgence to go up a card. Discard Sarah's Emissary. Now they know what I'm doing. And I just need to draw my reanimation spell. I will start to take 3 a turn. I can Thoughtseize out something of theirs. Let me try first to Faithful Mending, and then see how I need to play the rest of this. Found another Faithful Mending, and I can probably just get rid of 2 lands. I want to keep the extra white and blue, so I'll get rid of those. Then here is Deserted Beach, and I do need to Thoughtseize away one of these cards. It's a land. I think I prefer... this is just cast. This is just cast. So I will try to make their draws be more top decky. They drew a Soulscar Mage off the top. They can Static Discharge me now. At least the Soulscar Mage is not attacking this turn, but this really does hurt. I have enough to double Faithful Mending this turn. Just if I need that much life. Let's see what their draw is. Harmonic Prodigy. It's not the end of the world, but I am on a 2-turn clock. I will Faithful Mending. Okay, unfortunate, and I will Faithful Mending again. Unburial Rites is good. That gets me there. Wow. Unburial Rites on Sarah's Emissary. Creature, so I'm safe from the board now. And now I just need to dodge any damage-based spells. I will get a blue mana source. Alright, I'm up to 7 mana. It's going to take 2 things to kill me. It's a good thing that I got creature protection, because all of these things would have totally killed me. Play with fire gets me down to 5. And now I just need to start beating in. They put 40 damage on the board, which is just crazy. Alright. And they slow-mo attack in. Now I get to hit for 7. And I can Faithful Mending to get further healthier. Here are 2 things, and I can play a Priest of Fellrights this turn. Looking good for me. I think I might be able to get out there. I will play a Shieldred next turn. And their board just gets absolutely huge. Wizard Prowess is such a cool deck. I'll need to revisit it on the channel. The first time that I played it, I had pretty moderate success, but I should definitely revisit it. Look out for that in the future. Opponent putting another 40 damage on board. It is just insane that this deck can do this. Harmonic Prodigy is a pretty cool addition to this deck. I think typically it's a bit win more, but we'll see. I am getting pretty close to dead. I am potentially dead with a, what do you call it? The Static Discharge? Yeah, Static Discharge would be able to kill me. So I'd like to protect against that if possible. Waterfront District. And let's see, what am I going to reanimate with my Priest? I will probably just, it has to be Shieldred at this point. No real other choice. Unless I really wanted to do a Stitcher Supplier and take that chance. But I'm going to take Shieldred. And what I could actually do is go in. Well, I guess I will not attack. I will attack with Sarah's Emissary. Then on end step, Priest of Fellrights, which for some reason I couldn't activate. Why exactly was that? Oh, right. I don't have enough life to pay. Well, no matter. They didn't have enough to kill me, so I will get them. Amazing. We were just barely able to do it in turn 7. I'll get back a Coma, and I will just swing in. There's 13 more damage. Wow. Survived with just 1 life left. This was a pretty good league. That was Esper Reanimator. Thank you for sticking around with me. Very, very cool deck. I made this thing because I was sick of losing to it and wanted to try it out for myself, so glad you guys got to come along for the ride. Once again, thank you for listening, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.